Rebecca Foxx had been away from home for the weekend, visiting her family in a nearby town. Upon her return earlier than expected, she decided to play a harmless prank on her fiancé, who was busy in their bedroom. She tiptoed to the room, giggling in excitement, and quickly ducked under the bed to hide. She waited patiently for her fiancé to come into the room so she could jump out and surprise him. However, as she lay there, she froze in terror as she heard the sound of footsteps approaching. It was more than just her fiancé. Her heart racing, she tried to stay quiet and still, hoping that it was just her fiancé and whoever else was present in the room wouldn't notice her under the bed. Suddenly, she heard her fiancé's voice, but his voice was accompanied by another voice that she had heard before. Her mind raced with fear and confusion as she realized that someone else was in the room with him. She tensed up, her eyes wide in shock, and tried to control her breathing while bracing herself for the worst. It was at this point that Rebecca realized that her joke had taken an unexpected and unpleasant turn. Rebecca lay motionless beneath the bed, trying to quiet her breathing. She could hear a pair of footsteps approaching, and her heart raced with fear. As the footsteps drew closer, she could hear the distinct sound of high heels clicking against the hardwood floor. The sound was all too familiar, and Rebecca's mind raced with the possibilities of who it could be. Just as she was about to give in to panic, the pair of people spoke, and Rebecca recognized the voice immediately. It was someone she never expected to see again, and her mind raced with a million questions as she tried to process what was happening. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Rebecca Foxx, a young, vibrant woman, lived a seemingly perfect life. With a fulfilling career, a loving family, and a bright future ahead of her, she had everything she ever wanted. Her world turned upside down when she met Andrew, the man of her dream. Unlike the jocks and macho men she had dated in the past, Andrew was different. He had a nerdy side and a deep love for his family, which made him even more attractive to Rebecca. She felt like she had finally found her soulmate and was excited to spend the rest of her life with him. However, fate had other plans in store for her, and one day something happened that would shake her world to its core. Andrew and Rebecca met for the first time at a summer camp where they were both working as counselors. From the moment they saw each other, they felt an instant connection. They spent their days bonding over their shared love of music, movies, and adventure, and their evenings talking for hours under the stars. As their friendship deepened, Andrew and Rebecca started to realize that they had developed feelings for each other. They started to spend more and more time together, going on long walks, exploring new places, and trying new things. Soon enough, they were inseparable, holding hands and sneaking into each other's houses to spend time together. Their teenage love never faltered, and as they graduated high school and went on to college, they were as devoted to each other as ever. They made sure to call each other every day and to visit each other as often as they could. They supported each other through the ups and downs of college life and cheered each other on as they pursued their dream. Fast forward several years, and Andrew finally worked up the courage to ask Rebecca to marry him. He planned a romantic dinner at their favorite restaurant and surprised her with a beautiful diamond ring. Rebecca was over the moon with happiness and screamed "yes" at the top of her lungs. They hugged each other tightly, knowing that they were meant to be together forever. Rebecca had fallen head over heels for Andrew, and much of this was due to his strong sense of family values. For Andrew, family always came first, and he had a deeply ingrained bond with his parents. In fact, his mother, Anna, was an active participant in their lives, frequently organizing Sunday lunches where the whole family could come together and catch up with each other. These lunches, filled with laughter, stories, and delicious home-cooked food, were a highlight of the week. However, one such Sunday lunch brought with it the first sign of trouble. It was during this seemingly perfect family gathering that the family dynamic began to show cracks. Andrew's father, who was usually the life of the party, seemed withdrawn and uninterested in the conversation. Anna, who normally had everything under control, appeared to be on edge, snapping at everyone and looking uncharacteristically frazzled. Everyone was gathered around the table enjoying a delicious meal. Andrew and Rebecca were seated across from Anna and Andrew's father, Trent. As they ate and chatted, Rebecca couldn't help but notice something that made her feel uneasy. Still, the discomfort lingered. Rebecca had never seen a dynamic like theirs before, and it made her uneasy. Anna frequently inserted herself into private conversations between Rebecca and Andrew, offering opinions that were neither requested nor welcomed. Andrew never stopped her. Instead, he seemed to encourage it, valuing her presence and input. Their closeness went beyond what Rebecca felt was normal. They shared inside jokes, laughed easily together, and seemed deeply attuned to one another. Rebecca began paying closer attention. Anna found excuses to touch Andrew whenever she could, her hand lingering on his arm or shoulder. The gestures felt intimate, and though Andrew did not openly flirt, he never pulled away. When Anna touched him, he often returned the gesture, creating an unsettling back and forth. Rebecca tried to convince herself she was imagining things. Paranoia crept in slowly, feeding on every glance and pause. Their family dinners had once been comforting, but they had changed. The atmosphere felt tense, charged with something unspoken. Then one evening, everything shifted. As they sat together at the table, Rebecca noticed Anna and Andrew exchange a look that made her stomach tighten. Their hands briefly intertwined in a way that felt disturbingly intimate. Turning to Rebecca, they announced they had been planning something special, a hiking trip. At first, Rebecca felt relief. A hike seemed harmless. Still, questions lingered. Why had Andrew never mentioned it before? Why had it been kept secret? By the time the day arrived, her optimism felt fragile. They set out early on a crisp morning, driving deep into the forest. Rebecca forced a smile, but the deeper they went, the tighter her nerves became. The trail was steeper and more rugged than she had expected. For a while, the hike progressed smoothly. The four of them, Rebecca, Andrew, Anna, and Trent, moved together through the woods, the quiet broken only by footsteps and birdsong. As they climbed higher, the terrain worsened. Trent began to struggle, his breathing heavy, his pace slowing. Rebecca noticed immediately and looked ahead, but Andrew and Anna were far in front, absorbed in their conversation, seemingly unaware. Rebecca hesitated, then slowed to stay with Trent. She couldn't leave him behind, not like this. As they continued up the trail, Rebecca tried to make small talk, hoping to distract Trent from his struggle and maybe ease the tension she felt. But the conversation shifted when Trent, sounding tired and reflective, apologized and mentioned that Andrew and Anna had always shared a special bond. He explained that since marrying Anna, she had acted more like a true mother than a stepmother, and that they had been through a great deal together. His words unsettled Rebecca. There was something weighted in his tone, as if he had said more than he intended. Questions flooded her mind. When they reached the summit, Anna and Andrew were already there, laughing and standing close together. They showed no concern about having left Trent behind. Their ease with one another felt excessive, their closeness too intimate to dismiss. By the time the hike ended, her unease had hardened into something colder. She felt sure now that Andrew and Anna were hiding something capable of changing everything. In the weeks that followed, Rebecca grew increasingly distant from Andrew. Conversations became strained, and every interaction between Andrew and Anna unsettled her. The suspicion lingered constantly, refusing to fade no matter how hard she tried to ignore it. Eventually, unable to live with the uncertainty, Rebecca confronted Andrew. She told him she felt something was wrong between him and Anna. His reaction was immediate and defensive. He insisted there was nothing inappropriate and accused Rebecca of jealousy and overreaction. In the aftermath, trust was difficult to rebuild. Over time, Andrew made an effort to reassure her, and their relationship slowly stabilized. Still, the strain lingered beneath the surface. Then, one weekend, Rebecca was unexpectedly called away for work. Her boss requested that she travel to present a new product to potential clients. The sudden trip overwhelmed her, but Andrew encouraged her to go and focus on her career. She spent her time packing her bags and making sure everything was in order before heading to the airport to catch her business class flight to London to showcase her company's latest product. However, unbeknownst to her, something sinister was happening back at home, a deception that could potentially turn her world upside down. Shortly after arriving in London, Andrew called to encourage her and reassure her that everything would go well. His enthusiasm comforted her, but it also struck her as unusual. She wondered why he seemed so eager for her to be away that weekend. The reason became clearer when her boss unexpectedly informed her that the presentation had been moved up. She would now have to present on Saturday instead of Sunday. The sudden change left her rushed and stressed, but she forced herself to focus, knowing how important the opportunity was. On Saturday, Rebecca delivered the presentation flawlessly. Her confidence in preparation impressed the clients, and she felt relieved when it was over. Eager to return home, she booked an earlier flight, forgetting one crucial detail: she hadn't told Andrew she would be coming back a day early. When she arrived home, the house was empty. Disappointed but determined to turn it into a surprise, Rebecca decided to wait for Andrew. She heard his car pull into the driveway and hurried into the bedroom, hiding under the bed to startle him playfully, unaware that he wasn't alone. Moments later, footsteps entered the room, 2 sets. Rebecca froze, her heart pounding as fear replaced excitement. One voice sounded familiar, but she couldn't immediately place it. The situation felt wrong, and her earlier prank now seemed like a terrible mistake. As the conversation continued, Rebecca realized the second voice belonged to a woman. Her thoughts raced, dread tightening her chest. She waited helplessly as Andrew's jacket fell to the floor near her face. convincing her that she had uncovered something devastating. Just as she was about to reveal herself, she heard Andrew speak. He addressed Anna, sounding irritated. Anna insisted that Rebecca was not right for him, claiming she had raised him like her own son and did not approve of the marriage. Andrew firmly rejected her interference, defending his wife and telling Anna to leave. He made it clear that Rebecca was his priority and that the house needed to be ready for her return. Rebecca sprang out from underneath with tears streaming down her face. "How could you?" she said, her voice quivering. Anna jumped back, not expecting to see her. Andrew was equally surprised, but he had redeemed himself by standing against her words. They asked her to leave the property. After that day, the couple didn't go to the family lunches anymore. They knew that they only needed each other. That was true love.